think we can all agree, Valheim's one of the best games out there, but even the greats have their flaws. Fortunately, Valheim's modding community is one of the best in the business, and today I'm going to solve all your Valheim pain with 25 quality of life enhancing mods, which at this point I would absolutely die without. And before we get into it, don't worry, none of these mods drastically change the Valheim experience, but rather maybe smooth it out a little bit and add a sprinkle of spice. And we might as well start things off with an absolute banger in AzuExtendedPlayerInventory. Inventory management is probably the most common pain point for Vikings. Trust me, I even made a video about it, and this mod offers the perfect solution. Simply put, this mod extends your inventory, adding 4 slots for your armor, 1 for your trinket, another for your utility item like belt or wisp light, and 3 flexible slots, freeing up 9 in the standard inventory. The 3 flexible spots, in addition to providing inventory space, add ease of access, coming with their own configurable keybinds that make for great places to add your foods or maybe mix in a mead. Maybe the best use case, however, is to host multiple arrow types for the ultimate archer. This way, you can easily toggle through them when in a fight, maybe a little easier for me if I didn't happen to have my ability to sit bound to the same X key. But that is not all it offers, also providing the flexibility to increase the number of rows in the standard inventory. This mod, like most on this list, can be easily customized to your liking with your mod manager of choice or by using this must-use mod I'll cover later. You can extend the extra breathing room to your storage area too with another from Azu in AzuContainerSizes. This one does exactly as you'd expect, with configuration options to add rows or columns to any chest. What I like about this one though is that it's not standardized across all chests, allowing you to configure each type as you see fit. In my case, I decide to extend the space between my wooden and black metal chests. And don't worry about going overboard, as a scroll wheel will be integrated should you exceed a certain threshold. And to complete the Azu trifecta, and easily my favorite of the bunch, is the stellar combo of AzuCrafty boxes and AzuAutostore, which together allow you to take advantage of the massive benefits of all this increased storage. With AutoStore, materials can be tossed onto the ground and after a few seconds will be pulled into nearby chests that contain common material. For instance, by placing hide and deer meat in these chests, I can drop them and within seconds, poof, they're gone. The radius around the chest for which material is drawn can be increased or decreased to your liking, as can the highlighting behavior of the chest. Alternatively, you can even add a keybind to auto-deposit items opposed to dropping everything if you prefer. But wait, it gets better. Once items are stored, you no longer need to have them on your person to craft. Crafty boxes will detect the contents of nearby chests and allow you to pull material from them directly at the crafting station, and once again, this range is completely configurable to your liking. For a less transformative alternative to your storage woes, however, I'd have to suggest ItemDrawers. This mod adds new craftable storage chests that come in several different materials to suit your style. Rather than functioning like the standard chests, these have only a single inventory slot but have the benefit of displaying a visual of the item stored within it. While less flexible than a regular chest, I really appreciate the ability to identify the contents of my storage with a simple glance. The combination of these mods really modernizes Valheim for me. It takes away a lot of the inventory management, much like today's video sponsor, Wand. Wand is a powerful desktop app equipped with simple to use tools that removes any obstacle for having fun in over 3,500 single player PC games. It gives you the power to customize your experience, whether you want to change the rules for yourself or just get a little help along the way. It was ridiculously easy to set up. You click download, install, and Wand already knows what games are in your library. Select your game, hit play, and you're on your way. I decided to leverage Wand to test my skills and see if I could take down a fueling village completely naked with only a bow on max combat difficulty, but gave myself instant skill leveling and infinite stamina to level the playing field. I created my character, pulled up their dumbfoundingly easy to use overlay simply by hitting Alt+W while in-game, confirmed my enhancements, and launched my attack. I felt like a god mowing down the fueling horde, arrow after arrow, but they kept coming. You wouldn't believe how powerful you feel in Valheim with infinite stamina. Despite this, their numbers were too great and I fell in battle. Turns out, armor is pretty important in this game. If you want to feel like a god in Valheim like I did, download Wand for free at wand.gg/snazzygames in the video description and enjoy your favorite games on your terms today. Next up are 5 incredible building enhancements that for someone with really poor building skills like me can really benefit from. The first is Gizmo, which is a bit of a wacky mod but makes for a lot of fun and can really enhance your build variety. This mod effectively adds additional axes of rotation to items that you can build in place. For instance, I can tilt the throne forwards, backwards, however I want, even place my bed vertically against a wall. Functionally, this one doesn't add much, but it sure is a lot of fun. Build camera, on the other hand, is insanely useful, especially those working on an expansive and ambitious build. Simply put, this mod adds a camera disconnected from the player when building, allowing you to reach otherwise inaccessible places, like on top of my roof. While definitely less immersive than standard building, I can certainly see the benefit of this one for someone working on a more impressive structure than what I'm capable of pulling off. Next is a simple but welcome solution to a common pain point for many builders in waterproof building. Normally exposed structures such as simple floor pieces would take damage from rain and deteriorate over time. No more with this mod enabled. The fourth of the building mods covered today is a little more transformative than most in InfinityHammer. I use this one all the time in creating my videos and it saves me all kinds of time. InfinityHammer expands the function of your hammer with 3 additional functions. First is Pipette, which allows you to copy and paste build pieces. Building Pipette takes this a step further and allows you to copy all elements of connected structures as a single piece and paste them wherever you would like. Thirdly is Area Pipette, which provides you an area selection tool that copies all elements within its variable radius, and like the others, permits you to paste the area selected wherever you would like. These powerful hammer tools allow me to make things for my videos far faster than the standard hammer. Yet perhaps even better, this mod also enhances the hoe, giving all kinds of functionality. You can cultivate variable radius of terrain in one click, level vast areas in a single swoop, and even delete all elements within an area amongst many different things. Perhaps too much for a Vanilla Plus playthrough, but super handy for those creatives out there. That said, perhaps a more elegant application of the hammer would be to simply use it to build within dungeons and forgo its more transformative capabilities. Fifth, and easily my favorite of the build enhancing mods, is PlanBuild. This one adds a couple new craftable items, first with a new Plan Hammer. Unlike the regular hammer, this one doesn't build structures on placement, but rather leaves ghostly outlines of the structure that you can add to over time. Either add all materials in a single click, or progressively over time, making it a lot easier to plan and collaborate on builds in multiplayer. Once finished a structure, you can make a blueprint rune that can be used to copy and store your creation for later use. In the future, you can place that blueprint and build just as you would any other structure. Plus, it has an aerial building function, much like what we saw from Build Camera earlier. And with your base built, SpeedyPaths is an excellent mod to help you get around. Briefly, this one adds speed buffs when traveling on player-created paths or floors, with increasing benefits the more refined the floor. Starting at a 15% speed buff on dirt paths to as high as 40% on grouts and floors, highlighted in the top right. If these buffs aren't enough for you, or perhaps too much, you can always tweak them in the mod configs to your liking. But portals beat walking every time, which is where TeleportEverything comes in. What this mod does is enables the portaling of not only metals, but tame creatures and other things like carts as well. Say you need some help in the Ashlands and you have a couple good boys at home. Ensure they are following you and interact with the portal and they too will be teleported. Or maybe you just have a ton of stuff like iron you need to haul a long distance. Say no more. And speaking of iron, the metal grind can be an incredible pain, but that's where InstaSmelt comes in. Rather than mine the ore, drag it home, burn coal, and smelt the metals, InstaSmelt converts your raw ores to refined metal instantly as you pick it up. A simple mod, but a great time saver. Unfortunately, nothing solves the pain of encumbrance, but at the very least, TubaWalk will be there to give you a chuckle. What you hear is all it does. Whenever you're overweight, a tuba will play. In my opinion, this mod is non-negotiable for any modded playthrough. But if the grind is still too much, that's where LazyVikings can really shine. Rather than fill your kilns, smelters, windmills, spinning wheels, any refining structure at all, LazyVikings can do that for you. By placing a chest and filling it with the input material for any consuming structure you can imagine, this mod will sense the stored consumable and draw it into the refiner automatically. Better yet, once refined, it will also store it in a nearby chest to boot. This works on light sources too, like fires and torches, where wood and resin will be withdrawn and keep them lit. Although a good alternative for light sources is to simply use TorchesEternal. With this mod enabled, all light and fire sources such as torches, campfires, and hearths, amongst others, will be crafted with fully stocked fuel. Rather than consume the fuel, these will burn infinitely without any maintenance. But if that's a step too far, AzuHoverStats is a neat mod that will help you stay on top of fueling your light sources. This mod effectively adds a tooltip to almost everything in the game. It informs you of trees' health, growth times for crops, structure hit points, and progress timers on things like fermentation of meads. It will even display the contents of a hovered over chest, which I find to be a little much. Fortunately, again, like most mods on this list, if you don't like a feature, you can simply turn it off. Another annoying thing in Valheim is the incredibly difficult to navigate crafting menus and limitation in number of items you can craft at once. That's where AAA Crafting saves the day. This mod, another by Azu, completely overhauls the crafting interface, so much so that it even comes with a brief tutorial to guide players. It adds filters to menus, enables crafting of multiple items, and even allows you to favorite your most used recipes. If short on resources for a craft, you can pin the recipe to your screen as a tracker to keep on top of the gathering of materials. Although I'm either being dumb or perhaps the mod needs updating because I couldn't get it to work for this video. Although, here's a photo of what it should look like. A downside of this mod is it makes it a lot easier to accidentally make more than what you need, but that's why we have mods like Recycle and Reclaim. This adds an additional action button to a workbench labeled Reclaim. With this function, you can select already crafted items and recycle the materials you have consumed to build the item in the first place. You can configure this to return all the materials or a fraction of them. It's completely up to you. Another simple quality of life enhancement is SaveCrossbowState, which in my opinion makes the weapon type far more viable. Unlike vanilla gameplay, with this mod, a crossbow will stay loaded if switching weapons mid-fight. I just wish they would make it work this way in vanilla Valheim. Feeding your tames is another nuisance, but PetPantry helps reduce the agony. With this mod, your tame animals can be fed via food in a chest as a nice alternative to laying it on the ground. And growing the food for your tames to eat has never been easier with the combo of PlantEverything and PlantEasily, perhaps the most important quality of life enhancing mods on this list. First, PlantEverything enables the planting of, well, literally everything the game has to offer, which perhaps most importantly allows the planting of valuable resource producing blueberry and raspberry bushes, which can now be planted close to home. The default requirement for a blueberry bush, for instance, is 5 blueberries, but you can change this to how you like. PlantEasily, on the other hand, adds a customizable planting grid to your crops that allows you to plant a perfectly placed grid of your turnips, berries, trees, what have you. Better yet, you can harvest all crops nearby with a single click too. These are a must for any Vanilla Plus playthrough. Another one that's hard to give up is HUDCompass, which is the absolute best navigation aid there is. Simply, it adds a compass to the top of your screen that will help orient yourself, displays points of interest such as markers placed on your map, and displays the cardinal directions. However, the best part of this one is that it captures each of your portal, boat, and cart locations on your map automatically for you. No more losing your boat location or forgetting a portal name. And while adventuring, you will no doubt come across the game's most hated biome in the Mistlands, which is actually quite beautiful with the mod MistBeGone. To no surprise, with this enabled, it completely rids the magical biome of the dreaded fog. And the only thing better than a mistless Mistlands is one snow covered during the winter season. That's right, Seasonality adds 4 distinct seasons that will naturally change as the 10th world makes its journey around the sun. With this enabled, Valheim's already gorgeous world gets a fresh and unique coat of paint in each of the game's many biomes, varying from summer to fall, winter, and spring. Even some of the game's creatures change their look with the season, like the Mistlands hair and Plains locks. While adding nothing in the way of functionality with this mod, the changing of the season really makes the game come alive. At this point, you might be a little overwhelmed with all the mods to manage, but that's where the official BepinEx Configuration Manager is a lifesaver. Rather than manage your mods in the managing software, install this mod for a simple overlay that you can pull up in-game. As an example, I pulled up my set of mods and quickly added 2 new rows to my inventory with just a couple clicks without even having to leave my game. If you're going to try modding with many of these simultaneously, this manager is a must. And hey, maybe some of these features will make it into Valheim's 1.0 release coming out next year. But I talk about more about that in this video, right here.